Hi, and welcome to another episode of Integrated Awakenings. It's me, Maria, and today we are talking about the elemental energy of water. Now, it's kind of funny to me how much spirit is really encouraging me to record and release this kind of information. And I do want to preface things in terms of when you're listening to this podcast, kind of feel for the energetic body of this. Notice how different my energy is with the swords air episode and this episode. Do you feel me trying to resonate with your emotional body and allow it to resurface up and be acknowledged? Yeah, so I hope you're feeling that. I know that some people need that literally pointed out so that they would actually try it out because they just need the permission slip. But here I am giving you the permission slip, and I know that a lot of my audience probably have some concepts of emotional regulation from other kinds of content streams, meaning maybe you did some self-development work, maybe you even go towards some therapeutic practices of really hearing your emotions. So I really do want to emphasize that there is a space for that, and that what I will be prioritizing for this podcast though is the spiritual energetic waters slash metaphysical qualities of water, basically, of your waters, and then how to really transmute and cleanse them, and how it interfaces with all your other elements, because water tends to be this very mutable. It can contain the other elements quite well, and it's also juice that people use to smoothen out some painful things. So for example, think about those hard truths that we had from the air episode, and then imagine it coated with this thick sap of compassion. That truth sword, that truth cut, that clarifier in your energy will land softer because of this very supple quality of your emotions being free. Yeah, and your emotions being free enough to choose what is beneficial for you in terms of okay, let me fine tune what I just said. Okay, there are emotions that are your artificial you trying to run a poo-poo circus. Yeah, like like that. Okay, yeah, that's why I really want to encourage people to dip slash dig, to really reveal what is underneath the emotions, and do a lot of work that helps you dip into subconscious slash liminal states. Yeah, so basically, if you're feeling from a very your conscious state, your monkey state, yeah, you can have a 2-hour TED talk and you're just running around in circles getting nowhere. Yeah, this is why I'm saying dip down, because as you're running around, quote unquote, you are unpacking, you are spiraling down, you are plumbing your feeling, the truth of the situation. And just like in the truth podcast that I talked, the air element and the water element are actually really intertwined in terms of your system's body. Yeah, so as you're plumbing for truth, you're also unraveling the emotions around the truth. So think of it like a spiraling line, right? The truth, it's like a nylon wire, and then the water is the unfurling flowers that the wire is cutting through. Yeah, so they influence each other, coated by each other. Yeah, so this is why I really want to emphasize how they relate to each other, because I will say that yes, I want you to reveal the deeper passions, reasons of your emotions, but It is guided by the heat-seeking missile of your truth. Because otherwise, you would be playing almost with dirty water. Yeah, because it's not actually flowing. Like, imagine water in your room that you don't change for like 14 days. It's festering. Yeah, that plum of truth, that current of truth allows you to circulate and flow through the life process that is asking to reveal truth and to flow your emotions truthfully. Yeah, yeah. I know that to some people this might be like, what is Marie talking about? Why is she not talking about like making a container for my emotions and like prioritizing it? And I'm like, because the discernment towards your emotions is such a big thing. Yeah. You need to be able to call yourself out whether this is the real reason for the emotion, and if it is, or if it's not, if it's just bullshit. Yeah. Because one of the things that I noticed with clients who have like strong water emotional bodies is that, one, it's your comfort zone. Two, a lot of people laud it as a healing process. And three, like they might be attracted to you because people who are more numb go to you because they can feel their emotions more. And thus you're rewarded for like recycling water instead of going deeper into your water. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is, sometimes when people plumb to like their waters, okay, I just also want to say that in the same way that fire is also dangerous, especially if people just go ape shit on ambition, and then get tripped up by ego. The trap with a watery process is that it's almost like, okay, oh my God, there's like so many pitfalls. So I really want to be able to communicate all of them to you so that you can catch yourself. I know it's a little frustrating that there's so many pitfalls, but you're gonna have emotions all of your life, so I want you to hear them. Okay, so the thing is, when you enjoy like this juice of the emotion so much and the attention that you get from it and the release from logical way of thinking, like, oh my God, you're just going with feeling, you're in love, right? You're doing, imagine doing the most stupid stuff because you're like high on this overwhelming love, right? And it's not devotion towards like a higher deity slash love slash source. No, it's just insanity. Yeah. Yeah. And this is crazy because the thing is, devotees are like they're like one page away from insanity. This is why it's so subtle. It's so subtle. So anyway, some people can get overly, especially if you have a really strong water energy, people can get attached to the high of feeling. It's a way to talk about me. It's a way to, recenter. It's a way to cushion myself. It's a way to almost oh, it's like you have a favorite button and then you keep pressing it. A lot of our emotions of like just regular folks are repetitive. Like, you're repeatedly frustrated or you're repeatedly sad about the same thing. You're repeatedly I know that anxiety is more like a mental thing, and you see how like it bridges to water. Anyway, what I'm trying to get to is that you see how these waters are recycling each other, kind of like you're in a fishbowl instead of being a river, a water wheel. Do you see how far that is? That's why I'm saying being connected to like cosmic waters, to like spiritual waters. The thing is, you wouldn't even have habits or patterns because every moment will happen sincerely, genuinely, and authentically to you. That It cuts and flows through you genuinely, right? So the thing is, when there is a pattern, when there is a groove that is happening, that's because you're installing something that is regurgitating stuff instead of allowing it to flow. You're an aquarium, babe, when you're supposed to be a river. Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, that's what functions the artificial self, ergo the artificial aquarium. You're the ocean, you're not an aquarium. Do you see the difference of that? A lot of people have very familiar, almost biblical level of memorization of, oh, okay, this is my pity story. This is like what happened to me. This is blah, 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 blah. And it's like mausoleum level of aquarium, right? It's the same thing. The water's not going anywhere. And that's what I'm really, really trying to kind of smash. I'm trying to take an axe and help you like destroy your little aquarium, okay? I'm trying to like insist that the waters of you is more like a river, is more like nature, is more like all those feelings that flow in and out of your experience is actually so much larger if you allow it to be bigger. Now, I know that's like a big, tall order. So it's like, okay, Maria, fine. We get the shamanic / imagic. Imagic is such a weird way to say it. We get the subtle energy image of like what you're talking about. Okay, fine. We're considering it. But so what is the process of that? What is the process of that if I do want to get into deeper waters and feelings and really sense my deeper truths, my deeper currents, and just, kind of weaken the walls of my aquarium, right? Okay, here's the thing. I believe that a lot of movement / transformation for your waters is done through the subconscious level, right? So a lot of people have different ways of accessing this. So some people need to do float tanks, a little bit of sensory deprivation, yeah. Some people do really deep meditations and journeys, so they need to do a bit of like a sound assisted journey, yeah. Some people do a hypnotherapist, right? So that they could get to that liminal state and stay there and navigate from there. Yeah. And that's why it's so helpful when people, so for example, people who talk to guides or people who communicate with source, you need to be in that deeper realm. You need to find a way to get to that deeper realm so that you are navigating currents that are deeper, feeling and moving things that are deeper, stuff that transforms and flows in a more sustainable and long-term way, meaning it's actual transformation. It's not just you repeating bullshit. Okay, now, again, as I said, a lot of people have different ways to get this. I mean, some people fall into trance while making art. Yeah, but the thing is, I'm guessing if you are in this podcast, you kind of want options / how. Like, Maria, okay, stop with the... stop prepping my intellect. How, right? How? Okay, so here's the thing. For me, you need to learn how to deepen your relaxation and your stillness, being able to turn off your senses. So for example, instead of doing a float tank, really tell your body that, almost like imagining buttons or dials that tone down your outward attention. It's almost like from 100%, see it go down to 0. There's like yogic practices that do this. They put a lock on like your external senses. So really just almost like you're doing those light dimmers. See yourself dim your external attention and feel yourself go in. Yeah. And when you're in, I need you to clench and then unclench your body muscles. So clench it really hard and unclench it really hard. Now, the reason why yogic systems or even Chinese systems have so many different techniques is because a lot of people need different things. This is why some people fast, because they think they need a lighter physical body to get deeper, while some people, they don't need it, right? Like, I'm not, fasting doesn't work as much to me. But if that works for you, I do want, this is why I'm trying to be very thorough in terms of this is what works for other people. This is why those things exist in those systems, because it helps you dip. Yeah, that's why you're doing those cleanses. It helps you dip. But if you can dip even without those stuff, that's fine too. Yeah, so unclench, reclench, unclench, reclench your muscles, release it, release it, release it, and then really, I want you to almost like fall down into a deeper state. For me, I like slipping into holes, and the holes represent my utmost relaxation and original blueprint. Yeah, there are others who also prompt being slowly buried in sand, almost like you're sinking down, and others also imagining steps downwards into this very, very pregnant vacuum, like a restful blackness. Yeah. And I know that some people have negative connotations with black, but essentially what we're going for is emptiness. Because the thing is, everything above surface of your water is noise. And the thing is, this void is noiseless. Yeah. And ergo, when you dig deep into yourself, when you do those darkroom retreats, you're essentially meeting your subconscious. All those crazy retreats in the Amazon and those, crazy fasting stuff. Yeah. That's just you trying to meet your unconscious. And if you could do it, if you have a way to visit that place without as much assistance, and I'm telling you that you can. You just need to do it. It's just practice, yo. It's like walking. Yeah, everybody has two legs, and most of the time, as long as you have like an adult helping you stand up and walk, you kind of pick up how to walk. Yeah, so you already have all the equipment. You have your pineal gland, you have all your internal energy systems. You have the off button. Yeah, you just didn't have anyone to guide you, like hold your little baby hand to walk, right? So sometimes you need a hand to walk down to your subconscious, but I'm telling you, you could swim down to your subconscious and like meet it all the time. Yeah, I know that a lot of people feel or externalize this kind of intuition / process to their teachers, to their mentors, to their healers. And I'm like, friend, also the reason why I'm recording this podcast, I really want to emphasize that, yes, you could get help to swim down, but you can swim. Like, you can swim. Do not have a concept that you can somehow not access your subconscious. That's like the devil card in the tarot, right? It's the things you don't want to look at / what's underneath, what's the chain that you're not noticing. Yeah. So to people who don't do the tarot system, you can completely ignore that last statement. Anyway, so you swim down to your unconscious, right? And you kind of look at everything. And then the thing with this level of reality is that the stories kind of lose, just like a looser sense of logic. Yeah, it's very symbolic. Like, your heart is a cage, there's a little bird that can't sing, or there is a trapped dog inside of like or a princess inside of like a shard and you can't get him out and they're like screaming, or there's like a little kid And the thing is, one of the first things or one of the first aspects that I really help people into feeling into, speaking to, liberating is their inner child. And this is not just because I'm an Aries, because Aries is baby's energy, but also because a lot of our linear self's trauma, or like the stories that we carry, were things that is memorized by our child. Yeah. And the thing is, we are drawn to people who speak the right things to the child. Yeah, like we're drawn to teachers who give it encouragement, to friends who kind of teach it what it didn't know, right? It's almost like looking for parents. Yeah. So the thing is, when you swim down to your subconscious, I'm pretty sure that you're gonna find like a ton of shit. Yeah, there's gonna be like 1,000 stuff there. So I'm gonna give you like a little map and say, okay, go to your inner kid first. Rectify with your inner kid first. Greet them, befriend them in a way that you would befriend a stranger, meaning like be nice, just be your best self, listen to their shit, because that is also your shit. And really just be there, really acknowledge them. The crazy thing is, when you were younger, you probably just wanted attention, right? You just wanted someone to listen. You wanted someone to just not leave, right? Someone to be there for you. And the thing is, when this abandoned, right? The abandonment is so common. So this abandonment, this pangungulila in Tagalog, orphaned, like feeling orphaned, is because this inner aspect of us, that's the child, feels not held. So what's crazy is that, yes, you can speak to it, but I also just want to say, swim up to it. Put your face to their face, hug them, kneel to them if you want, bow to them, hug them, absorb them, listen to them. Eventually you'll know things you want to say, things you want to assure them with, but honestly, just meet them. Yeah? And I do, when I do this kind of work, I do say things like, anything that I do for this child, let it be true for every parallel life, every past, future life, dimension, reality. Let this echo basically into the fractal. And the thing is, I also wish the same for like my clients, right? Meaning the work that you're doing, allow it to fully ripple. And you can feel how your other yous are grateful / also reaching out to you in support. So that's what I'm talking about, larger waters. That's what I'm talking about in terms of feeling the echoes of the lines. Yeah. I know this, I'm always a little bit conflicted in terms of, I know this is going to land for some people and it's not going to land for other people. So I'm like, So anyway, my point is that work on your kid. Yeah. And then your kid's going to probably do a bunch of requests. Trust. Yeah. Building their trust. And then you could work your way around. Yeah. I usually do suggest that you get to your higher self / master self. Other people in other systems might be talking to their power places, right? Because they see themselves in nature more. That's also fine. Other people feel their master selves better when they're in a council and their council has their guides. Kind of like a conference room, a rec room, that's also fine. So it means that your blueprint is more relational. Yeah, that it kind of wants to be in dialogue with several voices. So that's fine too. So that's usually my target number 2, like a concept of like a higher vantage point. Because when you tackle any of the gunk in your subconscious space, so for example, masculine energy trauma, history against slavery, racial stuff. If you're not empowered, touching any of that stuff is just gonna railroad you. You're just gonna be flat on the floor. It's gonna overwhelm you. You're gonna drown. Yeah. And the thing is, the reason why I talk about higher master self, or the reason why people use that metaphor in the first place, is because you do kind of need to come from it from a higher order of things so that you're not swallowed whole. And I know that some people are like, isn't that just a judgment? Isn't that like not accepting where I am? And I'm like, yo, bro, you're like a very expansive reality. So do accept the paradox that you are both down here and up there at the same time. Yeah. So, and the thing is, if you're just going to math this in terms of those are like big stuff you're dealing with, you kind of need to call like upper echelon head honcho to deal with this kind of stuff. Yeah. And the reason if you're having a hard time tapping into your higher self, master self, guides and stuff like that, like you can't feel yourself there, check your inner child, check your primary wounds and really just meet yourself. It's going to be blocked off until you meet those. I'm sorry if that's like bad news to you, but that's the only way. When you do get to your higher self and stuff, do ask them. You can negotiate in terms of like, okay, I want to work through this limitation. I want to lay to rest this limitation. Or this has been coming up for me a lot. What is the truth of this? Yeah. Yeah. What do I actually really feel about this? You see this? So, you know how there's like a lot of jokes of, oh my God, they're acting all therapist. And I'm like, that's because you're exporting that function to another person instead of really learning how to hold yourself. So what I'm showing you is that dip down to your deeper waters, address specific things in the correct order, and come from a higher power to transmute these large things that have been affecting you. Yeah. Transmute these structures that have emotions loaded onto them. Do you see how it's both air and water. Do you see that? Yeah. If it already has earth, meaning it's showing up so physically in your reality, it means it's so dense already. It's so old. Anyway, because fire is pure transmutation. It doesn't get stuck. It burns. So anyway, so when you move this larger waters, it's almost like you're unclogging the sink, right? And you're getting bigger outflows as you're unclogging these. Do you see how all the elements work together? Yeah, because how do you unclog? You kind of need to burn it away. Yeah, do you see why I had the podcast in this order? So when you get these, I know that the imagery kind of sucks, but there's those hairballs that you get in showers. So when you get that end, right, you kind of need to throw it at the trash can. And the thing is, the trash can is either a vortex of annihilation or fire. Yeah. And death, basically. So do review the episode around shadow work and really rectify your concept of, can I lovingly lay to rest this aspect of mine that is no longer serving me in terms of like being able to flow? Because you as soul ought to be always flowing with source. That is just your natural original state. We are remembering, basically. We are letting go, releasing. I don't want to use the word detached, but more of like unclenching. It's really like an ungripping. Yeah, because detached sounds more very, I don't know, like program. Yeah, it sounds very clinical rather than this unclenching. It's actually almost muscular how much we grab onto these things, into these stories, right? So I do want you to do like a bit of a funeral thing to allow this to flow. That's the crazy thing. Because imagine the amount of tsunami water force you need to do to push a rock away versus if you just sublimate that stuckness by, that, for example, the hairball, if you actually like burned it with the correct fire. Yeah. Yeah, do you see what I'm saying? Because when people get themselves hyped up into a certain emotion to like, there's like artificial motivation to change things instead of like the burn of transformation. It's just all feeling, it's all like water momentum. Sometimes you don't get enough momentum. Sometimes your tsunami's too weak, right? You didn't get enough like emotional force around it, and that's why it's not enough, right? But I do understand that for some people this works, especially people who have like large water bodies. I'm like, okay, go if it works. If it works, okay. So anyway, where was I going with this? I do want to talk about the heart chakra, because the heart chakra is so intelligent. It's the bridge chakra. It's the seat of love, as if people know what love means, right? And people talk about the sweetness of the heart, the heart opening, and this excess of feeling, this unconditional freedom of not having. It's that Rumi quote of dissolving all barriers that separates you from others, right? And the heart chakra is the one that unifies us with other people, and ergo it is quite relational, and is the, at least in my understanding, would be where your water energy would rest. Yeah, most of the time. So the thing is, there are paths. It's called the devotee / bhakti yoga kind of style, where it's, I am so in love with something that because of me melting into that thing so sincerely, that I open up to all of life, because I realize that the object of my devotion, at its core, they are life as well. So it's like you use your lover as a door towards ultimate liberation. Yeah, it's almost like you're gunning for the core. And the thing is, for people, it's a little bit of a, because I try to recall times when you opened up to love, like when you had like your first crush, your first lover, and don't like try to be, oh my god, I'm spiritual, to have no, like your first like romantic crush kind of thing. And the thing is, remember how like the world sweetened up, like, oh my god, like he looked at me, or everything is okay, that's the enchantment of water. Yeah, because love has like other definitions and textures. So I'm just saying the sweetness of, when tarot refers to Two of Cups, it's that sweetness of companionship / that opening to more, that expansive quality, because you're using this person / thing as a door to openness. Now, devotees, so for example, being devoted to Shiva, or even Jesus, yeah. If you see Jesus in everybody, and it's done in such a sincere way. So, for example, the way Mary Magdalene loved Jesus, or, for example, the really famous devotees of Shiva. Just go with Parvati, the way she opened up to him. She was able to access everything that he already had just because of her fucking receptivity. It's a great succumbing. It's a great surrendering. And this is why I'm telling you that for a lot of folks, that's really scary. Because it's almost like, oh my god, where's my will? Oh my god, where's my decision? And it's like, no, bro, you're in love. It's a dissolution. You're dissolving. And that's how you get there. And I do want to say that there are many ways up the path, like up this hill. And the devotee path is quite fast, because you're just yielding. It's not even adjust, but what I'm saying is that mechanically, like physics-wise, you're simply yielding. So the Nana's path, which is more like mentally like waking up, like your eyes are opening up. you still need to, you're looking at the hill and you're like navigating of like, oh, okay, where's that road? This step looks like it's gonna work. I need a dagger to like cut through some of the, you know, bramble bushes here and there. But the devotee path is basically somebody already went up the hill. They have a motorcycle or they have a bus, and you're just riding their bus. Do you see how more efficient it is? In terms of time, quote unquote time, So that's what they mean by the path of the heart. Yeah, when they're talking about, when spiritual teachers slash energies are like talking to you about, oh, okay, feel through your heart, path of the heart, stuff like that. This is what they're promising you, basically. Because if you devote yourself slash plumb so deep, you're basically riding that motorcycle up. You're not navigating anymore. Yeah, you can probably do it with your eyes closed if you're crazy enough. Yeah, you're just gonna fall. You're just gonna fall, and you're gonna trust that your concept of whoever. For example, you devote yourself to Shiva. You're just gonna trust he's gonna catch you. That's it. You're gonna trust the motorcycle's gonna go up. Yeah, and I know that other folks do a bit of a mixture, right? I also talked about this in the other podcast. They do a mixture of mental, emotional, body slash spiritual. So there's like you can have different wheels that bring you up. And to a certain degree, a lot of people do like the heart path because it's so sweet in terms of like it's both consoling and it makes you feel so alive because it's so wild. But it's the instability that sometimes turns people off. Yeah. So I just want to be straight up with you in terms of, because some people, when they get into like awakening processes, they get a lot of this compassion, love and light, love, forgive, and it doesn't, somehow it's not sticking to them, and ergo they might be more of a truth slash awakening path. And as someone who's a bit of a nerd with this kind of stuff, I really want to say no one is more superior or like more correct or like more, it's just really what's appropriate. It's almost clinical in terms of like what's appropriate to your energy body. Yeah, because some people are more susceptible to this surrender and devotion than others. Yeah, so, and I do want to say, I do want to wrap up with this idea. I do want to say that, so some people might not have grown up with a culture of devotion. So basically, if you're in India, if you grew up with family members who were devoted towards, for example, my grandfather was devoted to Peña Francia. So that's in Bicol. It's like an aspect of Mama Mary. So he does like really quote unquote dumb stuff, right? For the Peña Francia. So basically, you wipe this handkerchief, you go through rivers. There's this devotion, basically almost like a celebration and devotion towards this aspect of the mother, and he gets it. It's just true for him. And the thing is, you kind of pick that up, right? So for example, if you're in a culture that has an example of that, maybe that is a way for you to access that. And those traditions exist because they are helpful to a degree. Yeah. But I do want to say that in the same way that somebody who's young can feel devoted towards a K-pop idol, or even, for example, a genre of music, or say, it's almost like the object doesn't matter. That's what I'm trying to emphasize here. The heart, this love devotee thing, it doesn't even matter if it's like a dog. It's the quality of your loving rather than the object. The reason why people are so tripped up with like, oh my God, romantic relationship tarot stuff, is because you still want a transaction from your lover. your human aspect needs that convenience that, okay, I do this for you, you scratch my back, I scratch yours. That's fair. That works. But understand that is your human aspects, your persona aspects needing that. Divine love, cosmic love, the love that brings you all the way up, does not give a shit. Does not need anything. Is not harmed. So imagine like nuclear heart chakra Mama Mary needing something from you as she's consoling you. Nah, she doesn't. Like, she just likes loving you. She just wants to love you. She just chooses to. She just has this perpetual decision of, yes, I love you. Right? So come here, child. So my thing is, especially for women who have really strong, oh, by the way, some men are also have like a really strong like devotee energy. I'm just saying that just because of energetic makeup and stuff, that a lot of women can feel towards this, right, in terms of like, oh my god, I don't know why, I just want to love, I want to have a bigger love, I'm fueled by love guides my life, I'm centered by life, love explodes me. If your friends talk like that, or if you talk like that, you are devotee path. Like, don't shit yourself. If it creeps into your language like that, it means that love is such a powerful verb for you. It's a powerful process for you. And I'm emphasizing that because other people's processes are actually different. Yeah, some people like death process more, or maybe a more inquiry, didactic process more. But if you are like tripping up insane because it's like you want to bathe in love's grace and be in the path of your guru, or just the object of like your love, like you're devoted towards, for example, sick people or like children, and it's like, I don't even care whose child it is, I'm just devoted. That's your path. That's your higher order water energy. That's what explodes you. That's what explodes your little aquarium. That's what dissolves your walls. And the thing is, I feel like a lot of these people, especially if this is their like natural energy, feel like they're called stupid a lot. Like, why are you that insane? Right? Like, imagine my grandfather, right, who is like a devotee towards the Peña Francia. Your typical modern scientist / city goer would be like, if they're educated, right, they'd be like, oh my god, why are they so superstitious? Why are they doing this dumb shit? Right? And they'd probably say it in the most flat tone possible. And the thing is, that's the thing. We make fun of lovers. We make fun of devotees. We make fun of the insanity of love. But the thing is, that is an opening. That is a fucking path. You read Rumi's books and poetry on love, and it's like, it is. And I do want to say that if you've ever felt scorned, that you've maybe done some stuff in terms of like, oh, I was too devoted to like a toxic guy and I gave more than I did. I do want to say that walang talo sa totoong pag-ibig, meaning no one really loses in true love. That if your love can hold itself, so meaning the parts of you that are hurting from those past experiences is your limited self. Your persona self is hurting. Love you, devotee you, cosmic love you is not hurt. Is almost like forgiving them almost immediately. So I just want to speak to that in terms of when you think that the object needs to behave a certain way for it to be deserving of your love, it means that you haven't broken down all of the walls. If you've gotten to a point where it's like, I actually don't care, I just want to love, That's when you know that you've dissolved the barriers. Yeah, yeah. Also, bonus tip, if your object of affection is a living person, this gets tricky because I know that you're not supposed to deify people, especially if they're assholes. I mean, your human selves. I mean, I know that everyone's divine, but your human self might do some dumb shit. That's the thing. Where is your focus? Are you worshiping the divine in them? Life that is expressed through them? Or are you growing into love and they just happen to be the direction you picked? Or are you dignifying something that is third? It's different. You see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? And that's the reason why because people tend to be quite fallible, right? This is why people on the bhakti path kind of advise you to pick something more stable, right? So basically, pick a saint, pick a deity, pick a so those Greek pantheon stuff. A lot of, for example, Apollonian and Dionysian devotees. I don't even think they call themselves devotees. They call themselves like priestesses or something. But it has this kind of relationship, right? And the thing is, that's kind of safer, honestly, because they're not human. They're like an energy form. And yes, they have a existing energy form. Like, I've seen Dionysus. He's crazy. He's crazy powerful. He's like Mama Mary level. Mama Mary's like good too. She's very safe. She's super safe. But anyway, that's why I'm saying maybe if you have an arrow of your heart heat-seeking missile, like looking for a target, maybe pick one that's a little less changeable, right? Something that is deep, right? So maybe Shiva or even a concept, right? So maybe let me see. I don't think Zen would work because it doesn't really have bhakti energy. Mother Gaia, being devoted to the earth energies. Some people pick planets too, so some people are like devoted to Saturn or even Venus, right? Yeah, so if that works for you, yeah. And some people, yeah. I do want to say that some people pick like a host of folks. So for example, me, I do feel genuinely devoted to some of my crushes. And it's like I see their higher selves, but that's because I have a lot of psychic senses opened, so I do see their divine versions often. So when people ask me how's Namjoon, I'm like, which one? I'm like, cause I see him in like a higher form, but I also see his human density and how much he's kind of like swimming in anxiety and swimming in like limited fear programs, and I'm like, I love you. It's like I love your higher energies, right? Because that is your truth. Like all these thought patterns are just how do you call this? It's not even accessories. It's just dust. It's dust on your eternal self. So I feel like when I talk to people and say, "Oh, I'm in love with blah," I feel like they might misunderstand which one I'm in love with. Yeah, because a lot of people's like third eyes are like dusty or just their sense of perception is dusty. So it's like we're not talking about the same thing. So, but that's okay. That's okay. So anyway, I do feel devoted to a series of my crushes. I feel devoted to some of my lovers in my other lives. I do feel devoted to Shiva. he really I really met him in one of my dreams, and it was just really strong. He spirals a lot too. It's his eternal dance void thing, so I feel really connected to that. But if I need something that has less movement, I probably wouldn't connect to him as much because my energy is also different from his. Yeah, so that's it, I think, for me. I think I'm really devoted to like all my lovers. Crazy, what a Venus and Pisces thing to say. I'm devoted to all my past, cuz what is past, right? What Okay, this might be this is a very Maria thing, so just an idea for you. But if time does not exist, all the love that I have ever received and given coexists. So as long as I have access to them and that I know that they were true, I keep them close to my heart. Meaning, if I do remember the lifetime that I was married and I was Taiwanese, that lover of mine, that love that I had, is not dead, is with me. That marriage of mine coexists with me right now. Yeah, every love I've had coexists with me now, regardless if their physical incarnation has met up with the physical Maria right now. Yeah, and I feel like all of those loves buoy me, and I feel like I'm devoted to all of those loves. I feel like they fatten me up almost in terms of juice, in terms of really, you know how sometimes your lover loves you more than you love yourself at that moment? Yeah, that's happened a lot for me in terms of when I'm in my limited self, I can feel uh lovers from a different life be like, "Nah, you're wrong." That's bullshit. That's not true. So I do feel the whole, especially I know I've said this before, but especially if you have like really strong Pisces aspects, your lover dissolving into each other could be beyond the physical. Yeah. And the thing is, as long as you allow it to happen, it will happen. Yeah. This is why you have some cases of, for example, your uncle, especially in the Philippines, like your uncle, your relative married a diwata, right? Or a fairy basically, or a spirit, someone who doesn't have like a physical form. And it's because they had that transmission. And it's quite polyamorous in a way that, oh yeah, they're also married to like their physical wife. Doesn't matter, it's the same way that Mama Mary doesn't care that you're also devoted to other things, right? In the same way that Apollonian priest, am I saying that right? Apollonian priestesses can also be devoted to Dionysus. It's fine. Love multiplies. There's no possession, right? So it just layers. It's almost like a water boom, right? It's like avalanche, waterfall, tsunami. So anyway, yeah. So that is all I have to offer in terms of my water episode. I hope that helps you perceive things in the elemental quality of water. Yeah. So that when, for example, you're relating to someone and the guidepost of their life is that they want to be in love or that they want to have a good wife. And I'm like, yeah, because their water energy is really strong. Yeah. So it's just also just another way to just readjust yourself to the way these elemental qualities exist in reality. And yeah. So I'm trying to emphasize that it's not just yeah. Anyway, okay, so that's it. See you for the next episode. I will be doing Earth and Akasha because I feel like emptiness doesn't get its full wraps. And ciao, see ya.